spider guard from here. A lot of times, like I get bored in closed guard, so I'll just open my guard. However, like if we're in closed guard, we usually want to try to maintain closed guard. However, if they're about to force our guard open, we want to like proactively transition. In Jiu-Jitsu in general, we don't want to like wait till we're about to lose the transition and then wait and transition as a reaction. Instead, you need to recognize like I'm 70%, they're getting to a point where I'm gonna lose a position soon. So I'm gonna choose to proactively transition out to something else so that we're still transitioning on my terms instead of hers. Okay? So I'm gonna have double sleeve control here. The same grip that she described, that 4-finger spider grip. So I'm rolling the sleeve, anchoring my fingers in. I'm gonna open my guard, and when I open my guard, I still wanna keep my knees pinched to her body, and I'm gonna use that to hip out. Okay, I'm gonna get on my side, that one knee slides in, pokes on her hip and flares, and then my other knee slides in, pokes on her hip and flares. So this is like, regardless of what guard you're transitioning to, this is a common way to make control before you transition into whatever that guard is. So I'm flaring my knees, I have my elbows anchored, and I still have these 4-finger grips, and I'm posting my feet on her hip. Now we're gonna choose a side to make a spider. If you've never done spider before, for me, I'm right-handed, my left side, making the spider on my left side is more comfortable. But if you've never done it before, just try both, and probably one's gonna feel better. So if one side feels super awkward, try the other, it might feel better. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my left. So I'm gonna hip out again, keeping this pressure, and the side I'm gonna make my spider, I'm gonna be on the opposite hip. I'm gonna place my spider hip right in the bend of the elbow. So it's like the pinky edge of my foot is right in the bend, and I'm gonna extend, and as I extend, I'm gonna use that extension to go ahead and sit up to my elbow. Okay, when I have this spider, I have super short limbs, but people have a hard time killing my spider, and it's because of a couple things. The reason is I'm one, pushing through the pinky edge, like on this diagonal, like out her elbow, and I'm pulling on the same plane. In Jiu-Jitsu in general, your grip break, your grip is strongest when they're on, like it's a pressure and a counter pressure on the same plane, like on the same line. So if I'm pulling a little bit on a diagonal, but I'm pushing straight, it's not as strong. I want to push through one line and pull along that same line, okay? The other thing that helps me maintain my spider is I'm keeping her square. If I have a super strong grip on this side, but my counter grip is weak, it's going to be much easier for her to turn the corner. So whatever my counter grip is, a lapel, a sleeve, or a pant grip if she's standing, I need to pull that too. Because her path to escape is to cut an angle on my straight leg. And I'm going to prevent her from cutting that angle by keeping her body square. So this control is only as strong as this counter control. Okay, so I'm going to be pulling that counter control even though that's not really what my focus is. I need to keep her square. Okay? So from here, we're going to go into a super simple sweep that I learned like at white belt, but I still hit to this day on upper level people. I feel like maybe because they forget it exists, but it's super effective. So if I have spiders and they stay on their knees, the sweep is always here. So what I'm going to do is push off her hip again and hip out even more. I need to be like fully on my hip, and I know that I'm fully on my hip when I can't see under my leg. If I can see under my leg, I'm not fully on my hip. I need to hip out more, okay? So again, I have this sleeve, I'm controlling, I'm pushing through my foot, and I'm controlling this grip. Depending on the width of her base, I'm either going to put it on the mat and I'm going to chop, or I'm going to put it on the knee and I'm going to push. If her base is super narrow, like her knees are close, then I'm probably going to chop. If her base is super wide, then I'm probably going to push. But you're going to feel what feels like attainable. One's going to, like right now, it's not attainable for me to chop, so I know I need to push. Okay, but if her knees are really close, it might be attainable for me to chop, push, but like it doesn't feel super attainable, so I know I need to chop, okay? So you're just going to feel, and you can ask your partner to do different things. This is probably easier if you're new. Ask your partner to have a narrow base, okay? So now all I'm going to do is elevate, chop, and pull and look, okay? I really need to pull and look. I'm like going to overemphasize that because when I have that person on top, they're in this position, right? If I allow them to keep their shoulders stacked on their hips, it's much harder to turn her hip. So I want to pull and get that forward, get that weight off of her hip. Now it's much easier to turn her hip, okay? So that pull, don't underestimate the pull is all I'm saying. If you see, I hit this in my competitions against people way bigger than me, and I'm just like looking over my shoulder so hard because I have to get their weight forward to make that attainable to turn the hip, okay? So we're here in close guard. We're choosing to proactively open our guard because we don't want it to be open on her terms. Unlock, hip out, to the hip and flare, to the hip and flare. choose a side for spider. Hip out to the opposite side, place my spider, elevate to my elbow. Push and pull along the same plane. Now I'm gonna move myself back as much as I need to find that leg placement, either a chop or a push. I need to really push and look. I'm gonna pull and look, push or chop, if she has a narrow base, and elevate. Okay, look, I'm gonna follow all the way. I'm not gonna just like bail on my grips. It's gonna be a scramble. So like somebody bigger than you might try to turn in and come back, and we're just gonna keep pushing and pulling. I can keep them on their butt, not make it a scramble, okay? Now from here, I wanna transition to mount. If I just get up and make all this space, she's gonna come to single leg X, which, hey, I gotta sweep, and this is gonna happen sometimes, it's fine. But we're drilling for ideal state, so in an ideal state, I stay super low, and I can let go of this grip once I'm on my knee, and just start to push my leg across, so that my hips are going straight to mount and not leaving space for her to go to single leg X. Ideally too, if I can get my shin over her bicep, I like to do that, but regardless, we're gonna get to mount. Okay, so double sleeve control, open, hip out, knee, foot to the hip, flare, foot to the hip, flare. Pick a side, hip out, place my spider, pushing and pulling on the same plane, I'm on my elbow, I have this control, I'm keeping her body square. I move myself back as much as I need to feel that it's accessible for me to either push or chop. I'm gonna elevate, pull and look, and chop or push. Okay, once I'm here, I'm gonna keep everything. Keep driving through, keeping my hips low. If you can trap, that's better. Okay, let's try it. On, 1, 2, 3.